Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. With the continuation of SkillEarn series, today we are going to discuss our sixth topic on research skill, that is problem statement. This is Rana Tanvir Hussain, and let's discuss problem statement. Remember, whenever you start your research, you basically has to define what is your topic. So how can you choose your topic? This is the research process. And in this research process, you basically come across these three steps. And these three steps will make our problem statement. So problem statement basically is a very important part of our research. And this basically starts from the observation of the study. Observation. So observation is basically the first stage in which one senses that certain changes are occurring or that some new behaviors. So at your workplace, at the environment where you are working in the organization or in the society, you basically feel some behavioral changes, some changes in the attitudes of the people, feelings of the workers and the people. So when you see the changes, whether these changes are relating to the organizational change or with respect to the employee of the organization or with respect to the anything uh, within the organization or outside the organization. So you observe these changes. And after observing, basically, you identify these issues, these problems, these concerns, and you pick one of these issues. Like if you observe so many conflicts, issues, and concern in your organization or in any organization or culture, you have to pick one. For example, with respect to the human resource, if your organization is facing staff turnover problem, like people come, join, and work for few days and then leave the organization, so you have to tackle this problem. So problem can be related to the finance, marketing, or human resource. So in whatever the field you are working, so you have to pick one observational issue, right? After shortlisting your observation, your issue, like for example, you are going to do the research in HR with respect to the training programs, the sale volume in marketing and finance with respect to the minority groups which work in the organization to do the ethnical studies, or the newly installed information system is not being used by the managers for whom it was primarily designed, the introduction of flexible work hours. So it means your problem or the issue can be related to anything. It can be a financial issue, it can be a human resource or management issue, it can be a marketing issue or IT issue or any cultural issue. So in problem statement, basically identification of a broad problem management problem is the first step, right? In second step, you get some preliminary information about that problem. Now, in the third step, you define your problem in the white and black paper, right? So these are the three steps which will help you to generate a problem statement. So after the observation, you need to do some preliminary information gathering activity, right? Once a problem is identified, narrow down the researchable topic. So you have to make that issue your topic. So we need a topic of our research, right? So this transformation from broad AD idea to feasible topic is done with the help of the preliminary information gathering. If you are like, you have to conduct some unstructured interviews, you have to get some background information, or even you can do some kind of structured interviews, structural way of study to get the preliminary or the introductory information about the topic to make your topic more clear, so that this broad idea could become a feasible topic. So you need to do the preliminary information gathering. And information to be gathered may be classified under two headings. So first of all, you need to draw a background information, right, in the organization, on you are going to do the research activity, or on the environment you are going to do the research activity. So you need to get some background information. And after getting some background information about that industry or the organization, you also need to do some literature review. So you need to dig out what are the existing studies which provide knowledge about your topic. So you need to dig out the relevant literature. And in upcoming slides and series of lecture, we will discuss how to do the literature review. Literature review is basically, you can say, the foundation of our research. So we will discuss literature review in bit detail in coming lecture. Now, the third step is the defining problem statement. So after having an broad area of issue, financial, human resource, or the marketing, we dig out preliminary information to make that issue more precise and clear. And the third stage, we basically define the problem statement. And in problem statement, we basically narrate three things. One is, what is the issue on which we are going to do the research, and then how w- are we going to address that issue? What will be our research objective? And then what will be the relevant research question? So these three things which we need to describe in our problem statement in our introductory part of the research. Uh, this slide basically gives you some example about the research objectives. Generally, researchers define their research objectives that they are going to find out what motivates consumers to buy a product online. They are going to study, or we can say the aim of the study is to study the effect of leadership style on employees' job satisfaction. Or you can say the aim of the study is to determine the optimal price for a product. So these are the few examples how to write the research objectives of the study. And let's have an example, a comprehensive example on problem statement. So I will not read this problem line by line. Now give you the crux. This is an airline company which basically provides services to the customers. This company is facing a problem, and that problem is basically the intensive maintenance program for the outdated jets. There are some fleets of this organization which are outdated, due to which organization has to run intensive maintenance program, right? And to solve this technical problem. So this long hauling of the fleet basically cause delays, and passengers basically face these delays of the fleets. And because of this problem, there is a much frustration among the airline passengers, which basically generate the switching behavior in those passengers, and they utter negative words about the organization. And because of this, organizational performance and the profitability of the firm comes down. So these factors affect the performance of the organization. So you can say this is the background information or the issue which we are observing now, right? Prior research, literature review. Prior studies, literature review narrates that if organizations want to resolve such kind of issue, there are two techniques. One is the operations management, and second one is the management of perceptions. But literature also address that this is the more dangerous area in which organization have to focus on. Or organization is already maintaining an intensive maintenance program. So operation management is already being handled. But what the organization can do further is to manage the perceptions of the managers, sorry, passengers. So passengers are perceiving and giving their suggestions or the words in the positive and negative way about the organizations which affect the performance of the organization. So the researcher can pick this topic and identify his objectives, right? So the purpose of the study can be unfold. And then after defining the aim of the study, the research questions of the study will be outlined. So now this slide summarizes all things. We have to identify and narrate the problem. Frequent and long delays may translate into much frustration among airline passengers to switching behavior and to negative word of mouth. So this is the issue. These feelings may and behaviors eventually have negative effects on the performance and profitability of the organization. So after describing the issue, we have to narrate our research objectives. So let's outline. The purpose of this study is twofold. One is to identify the factors that influence the passenger's waiting experience. The second one, to investigate the possible impact of waiting on customer satisfaction and service evaluations. So researchers describe his or her issue, and then to resolve that issue, to conduct the research further to resolve the issue, he narrated two research objectives, in which first one is to identify the factors, and second one is to identify the effect of those factors, waiting on the customer satisfaction. Now, from these research objectives, researchers describe three research questions. The first one is the what are the factors that affect the perceived waiting experience of the airline passengers, and to what extent do these factors affect the perception of waiting times? So what are the factors? Second one is what are the effective consequences of the waiting? So what are the consequences of waiting? So third one is how do situational variables like such as fill time, like customers rush to the airport and they come to know that there is no seat available for them. So this is a situational problem. So how do situational variables affect the customer reactions? So these are the three research questions which a researcher outlined from their research objectives. Now, this is the classical example of the problem statement. So as a researcher, you will describe your issue and then describe your research objectives with respect to the problem, and then outline your research questions with respect to the research objectives. Now, summarizing the things. So first of all, you need to pick a topic and then you start writing your first chapter, that is the introduction, background information about the study, about the topic, and then describe the issue on which you are going to do the research, and then narrate your research objectives and research questions. Now, the previous example We can give a title to the problem. The proposed title of the example could be the effect of the frequent and long delays on firm performance, or you can say the impact of waiting on customer satisfaction. These are two suggested topic of the previous example. Now, after selecting the topic, you have to write your background information in which you will describe something about the issue, about the organization you are going to work on, or on the industry or the environment you are going to study in. So after giving the background information, you describe your problem statement in which you specifically define your issue, research objectives and questions. Now, I hope you get all the understanding of the problem statement. Now, start searching for your topic and then collect the preliminary information about the topic and then write your problem statement and then complete the first chapter of your research work. Thank you so much.